Hello, everybody. This is a very special conference because we are now talking America, Japan, and Paris together about one enormous subject which is important, and that is the bra market. I'm Jos Berry. I'm leading a trend agency which is called Concept Spares and is very known in the world of lingerie worldwide. And we work a lot with organizer of this event, which is Curve in America and Eurovat Interfilière in Paris. We have here Miraya of Miria. What is it, Miraya? I always call you Miraya. What is it actually?
Mariah, yes.
Miraya. Miraya, we have here Miraya, who is the Vice President of Merchandising at Wacol America. I must say, one of the most motivated women in the bra world I know. She is, if she could do it, she would sell every bra personally. Then we have also, and that is a very big treat for everybody because that's seldom, we have two gentlemen from a company in Japan, Makam, which is one of the leaders of engineering. Engineering is probably, and I have talked a lot with people from the machinery industry like Karl Mayer, engineering is probably the way forward to solve a lot of problems in the bra market. I will introduce this whole conference. What happened already before the pandemic was actually quite a slowdown of the lingerie market internationally, not only in Europe, not only in America. We saw big controversial messages. We saw especially the downfall of some of the big retailers, and there were all kinds of influences from the consumer market, which are simply put down into three words: inclusivity, wanting the things they specifically for them, body consciousness, the fact that every body shape was important, were Me Too development, and it concentrated itself on the lingerie market, which is very peculiar because they didn't say the ready-to-wear market is bad, but they said bras are not nice, they don't fit. At the same time, and that is very important, we saw a big rise and actually an attack of the activewear sport market on the lingerie market, even in a situation where I published an article and we analyzed that, and we said, of course, when is somebody making a bra when they take the best of sport bras and the best of the lingerie market together and make something new? Funny enough, that article, I only got reactions from sports brands and of one lingerie brand, and that lingerie brand is one of the biggest in the world. I will not mention names. The problems which the market came across was in a way very simple: fit, comfort, and not wanting bras that was extremely focused on décolletés and bigger breast and that kind of things. So no wires, no padding, but at the same time, an enormous extension of the bra size range because the morphology of modern women is changing dramatically. So that is the subject. The subject is also, and that is quite alarming for the big brands like Wacol, which is, there are worldwide, when you talk about brands with a very specific attitude, especially in America and in our world. When you look at Asia, it's a little bit different, but there are in reality there are three big leaders at the moment, which is Wacol, Triumph, and coming up fast, of course, is Chantel. Now these brands have always been the trendsetters in the bra industry. They were pulling the bra industry forward. And then suddenly, with the arrival of sport and with the arrival of all kinds of startups who started to sell online, we saw a complete reshuffling of the influences of the bra market. Now, if you talk to retailers, so that I will stop now talking so much because it's up to you to answer all that. If you talk to retailers, they are worried because most of that new activity is going outside their area. The sport people sell big into sports areas and also online. All the startups sell online. And the big brands are actually the assurance of the retailer. The retailer has to have big carriers of influences, and that creates an enormous unrest, and especially because those big brands are holding to their old specialities, which is for a big part the real cut and sew traditional shape. And what we now see is everything that sells very well during the pandemic. That's also a thing that sold even in China and even in Japan, which sold very well during the pandemic, were sport bras and what I call cookie cutter bras, which are basically cut out things and then molded and glued together, which are united in one thing. There's hardly any sizing. It is small, medium, large, extra large. So there is a problem. There is a sort of separation of the people who in the know, the Wacols, especially the people who should carry the market forward, and what is happening. And so therefore, hearing it from one of the most motivated brands in the world and one of the biggest brands in the world, Wacol, I already had a webinar with Triumph. What are you going to do about it? That's the subject today.
だいたいポイントとしては、このランジェリー業界をスポーツアクティブウェアの分野っていうのが結構侵食してきてますと。で、オンラインもオンラインでの販売、ネット販売っていうのも増えてきていて、どんどんそういう業界が、守ってきてたところが今どんどん侵食されてきてますねと。で、この、パンデミック、コロナの影響もあって、でコロナの影響がある中でよく売れてたのがシームレスのあんまりブラのサイズとか関係のないその SML とかで展開されているようなものがよく売れていましたけども、そういうものに対してこういうワコールのような大きなブランドはどういうふうに考えているのかっていうところを今日聞いていくっていうような感じですね。
Miraya, what is your response on that? Because that is a whole bunch of
a lot of stuff.
That's throwing everything towards you and saying, okay, Miraya, you are Wacol now. What are your solutions?
Yes, well, it does feel like the whole world is kind of coming at traditional department store brands. You know, we have the whole market disruption with the digitally native brands and all the messages that they're putting out there. And we have the whole pandemic, and we have this whole shift in our kind of lifestyle and working from home. And what does that mean? The good thing is that we kind of saw this coming before it hit where we're at right now. And it's kind of, the whole concept of inclusivity it's not new to our brand. And so there's a lot of messaging out there that is all about inclusivity and sizes, whether it be size ranges or skin tones or ethnicities. The good thing about Wacol is that we've always spoken to those customers. So we've always had plethora of sizes. We have 76 sizes in our line now. And we've always had a lot of body tones. So the messaging that was out that sort of hit us 2 years ago, we were in it, but we didn't really have a voice in it. We, you know, sort of shame on us is that we weren't kind of ahead and talking about it from a marketing standpoint, but in store, grassroots, which is kind of where Wacoal really got its start, is in the fitting room, customer by customer, putting people in product, is where we made this conversion. And we see product on so many people, and we fit product on so many people. The amazing thing is that we're influenced by all those people. And so it's not just like me and the design team in New York that develops our product. We have our fit consultants, like 80 women that work in stores across the United States, who I meet with at least twice a year. And we have these brainstorms about, I always ask them, what's the bra you didn't have? Like when you were servicing a customer, working with somebody in the fit room, what didn't you have to satisfy her? And then that's kind of where we start our concepting. And we definitely recognized a few years back that there was a shift, and it was kind of like a merge. You have this younger customer who grew up on sport bras, like a younger demographic, a pull-on type style. That's what she wore as her first bra, and she's kind of grown up wearing that. And she doesn't really know, or hasn't really realized how to transition from that really soft style into a proper bra. And then you have the larger women, or a more traditional woman, who is also after that comfort. But we had to think about, how do we do it in the Wacoal way? Because we're not going to just design styles that are soft and easy and don't deliver support, because it's kind of off our brand. Our brand is about functionality and support, but we want to deliver it in new, comfortable ways. And so actually last year, we launched our Flawless Comfort style. And this is a version of a comfort style where it's a pull over the head, but the entire front frame is done in foam. And then the way we kind of we like engineered the inside of the style is so that, sorry, I'm turning it inside out, is so that the cradle has rigidity. And that's where we start working in Wacoal engineering into the product, so that she gets a comfort style, but that it delivers more support. And instead of just doing small, medium, large, extra large type sizing, we did it so that it really is developed to fit a fuller busted customer. So this is designed to fit a D double D. And now next year, actually we just showed at Market, our next iteration of this, where we're gonna take it from average all the way to full. So have a BC customer, small through 2XL, and a D double D customer, small through 2XL. But for us, it's a matter of finding that happy place where we feel that we're giving her enough support and she feels like she's getting enough comfort.
I have a couple of remarks, and those remarks are typical, coming from somebody who have followed every bloody movement in the bra market since, I've followed the bra market since 30 years. And I am behind one of the most not so popular inventions at the moment, the t-shirt bra, which was designed for Classique and Victoria's Secret at a certain moment, and which gentleman came originally from Japan, because the mother of the t-shirt bra was found in Japan, and coincided with that sudden need of women to protect their nipples, because we were wearing t-shirts. Okay, that we know that history. So I know the bra market. But listen, you say 2 years ago we started to see that shift. Now I can tell you that the shift started 10 years ago. 10 years ago, and that is why this shift has taken such a, it was moving under the surface. 10 years ago, I was working for one of the big brands as creative director. And we saw on the fair in Paris, suddenly a young brand arriving, and all the big buyers of the big department stores from America and from Europe jumping on it. And I said to the big brand, listen, this is something I would keep in mind. Why is that? Because it coincides with our observation that a lot of women who do not want wires and padding, and they will never want it, they become more vocal about it. And then the very big brand said, you are such a fashion freak. That doesn't mean anything for us because that will never fit. Now, that dilemma we have seen now, and that is true. A lot of the bras, which are called cookie cutter bra or small, medium, and large, where they do not fit, sorry, and they make a flat. So we not only talk here about comfort, we talk also about a vision how the breast should show, which is gone from very pronounced suddenly in rather flattened. Of course, there is part of the market which is holding to what Mireia calls a proper bra and what the industry calls a classic bra. But still, what are we gonna do about this racing market share growth of the active wear bra, which is not only worn by young people. We have discovered, talk with Walmart and people like that. They say that especially bigger women with fit problems go for sport bras. So here, there is something that is still to be treated by the big brands. I know that, for instance, that Triumph now has invented something which is called Smart Fit, or Fit Smart, which is very close to what Macam develops. It's a 4D development of a pattern which has different stretch, and we hear that Chantel has invented the first completely biodegradable bra. So there are movements going on. So that now, of course, I'm sure, and I'm already heard that from Mireia, Wacoal is preparing for that. But I would like to hear also from the gentleman from Macam, who is one of the leaders together with Azai Kazai in that whole research in the future. How are you going to react to these movements?
今ちょっと、大きい、サイズの方ですね。大きいサイズの方は、やっぱりこうアクティブウェアというかスポブラとか、そういったものを、つける方向に向かってますと。で、例えば、トリンプさんであったら、スマートフィットスマート、どっちかちょっとわからないんですけど、そういったコンセプトで、4D の、そういった、ちょっとマカムさんが今回作ったものに近いような、そういった生地を使った製品っていうのを出してたりとか、あと、シャンテールはシャンテールさんは成分解性を持った、ブラを出したりとか、そういうふうな方向に向かっていってたりするんですけども、両方どういう方向に向かっていってるんでしょうかみたいな質問が来ています。はい、
でもまずマライアさんにあれですよね。マライアさんから言ってもらえます？あくまでも我々はこう追従してる感じですもんね。
じゃあマライアさんから喋ってもらえます？
はい。
はい、OK。
マライアさん、please.
So, what do you want me to... The word is for you. What is the solution?
So the solution is obviously working together. And
absolutely sure that if you see people reacting now suddenly on the enormous need of innovation in your business, how are you going to do it? What are you going to bring? What are you working on? What can you actually give to the retailers and the department stores as hope for the future that the big brands, Waco, has a sort of enlightened idea how to solve that problem, because it's a whole combination, as you said. It's rather a lot.
It's so one of the ways that we're sort of addressing everything that's going on is from a merchandising standpoint. How we're looking at development and our line is driven by solutions. And so if you look at everything that's going on in the topic that we're talking about, we think of that as like our comfort solution. And within comfort, we've definitely said that we want to deliver the walk-whole fit in a comfort way. And I'll explain kind of some of the things that we're incorporating to do that. But then also part of our product assortment will be styles that are a little bit softer in nature, but we have to work with our supply base in order to have those soft structure styles have our support levels. And so that's where we, right now we're in the process. We have one that's kind of already gone to market. We just presented it. And we have 2 more in the pipeline that we're looking at and working with key partners on, where we're working on innovations in the types of silicone tapes. So it's not just Bemis anymore. There are other suppliers out there that we're working with that we seem to find that they have higher modulus and recovery. And with that, we're working to sort of engineer more sort of focused structure into those tapes so that we could still give our support, give the customer this overall easy wearing experience, and then combining it with fabrics that have a better performance. And that's where Muqam has been an awesome partner to us, because they get fabric construction and engineering. And so we're able to like develop styles that have a very, very, it doesn't show up, but have a very...
Do you have a lighter color there?
Sadly I don't, because typically the black shows better, but it's so dark up there.
Open it and put it in front of your white blouse.
Oh yeah, I could do that.
Oh, she is absolutely fearless, this woman, when it comes to bras. Okay.
So where you've got more of a, it really doesn't register. I apologize.
Yeah, it does, but explain it.
But so what we did here, and this is not part of our comfort concept, but this is about fabric engineering and working with Muqam on something that we were really excited about. One of the things that we recognized also is that customers want lightness. They don't want heavy garments. They want garments that, they don't feel like they're wearing a suit of armor. And so traditionally in bra design, in order to give, a really nice level of lift, it's been delivered through seaming. Or there are styles that are molded, and we kind of own that molded full figure market. But the overall garment still ends up with 2 plies and a sling and all of these sort of construction elements. And so when we developed this style with Muqam, we developed the fabric with them. What we said was we wanted to take away like 2 to 3 layers of the garment so that when she wears it, she still gets that lift, but without the bulk. And so we developed a pattern that has engineering from the bottom all the way up to the top that has power zones. And it's interesting because I feel like there's been conversations for years about power zones and fabrics, and many brands have played with it, but not until we found this fabric. And actually Muqam presented to me a fabric in a shapewear. They had shapewear panels at Interfiliere. I guess it was probably like 2 or 3 years ago. And they were showing me a new yarn that they used to deliver compression. And based on how they sort of presented this and the way that the compression would work, and they had like a prototype garment, and of course I went back to the room in Paris and I tried it on, and I was like, oh, there's something to this. What if instead of using it to shape the tushy, we use that same concept to shape the side and under bust? And so we worked several times to engineer this pattern so that it was positioned properly, and then it went to total lightness at the neckline.
And it would be very nice because we are talking about, with Mireia, constantly about this fantastic technology of Makam, but I would like Makam themselves to explain a little bit more what it actually, why it is so special and so unique in the world that I have not come across in my work more than perhaps one or two other manufacturers. So please, can you tell a little bit more about this technology?
マカムさんが、sorry, Yoss. I'm sorry. Can you add that they're gonna be talking about elevated allure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, start the question, Annie. So we are talking a lot about elevated allure, which is one of the newest products of Wacoal together with Makam, and it is the result of a very special technology, a technology which is related to engineering, and we would like Makam to tell us a little bit more about it.
Right. 今回、開発したエレベーティッドアルアーなんですけども、どういった、テクノロジー技術を駆使して、開発されたかっていうところをもう少し具体的に教えていただいてよろしいですか。
はい。今回、エレベーテッドアルアーで期待された、生地に期待されてたものとして、やはり1枚の生地の中に、すごく極端に薄い部分、パワーが弱い部分と、強い部分、それを、共存させるっていうことを期待されました。で、それに必要だったものが、ハードとしてはカール・マイヤーの、最新鋭の、編み機。もういいです。RSJ とか言わなくてもうそれ言わなくていいと。が必要であった。で、あと、そのヤーンとしては、伸びを良くするという意味では HS。ここは永谷さん、うまく説明してくださいね。はい、で、はい、HS が、必要であった。ただし、一方でその伸びを止めてパワーをアップするっていうところでは SF という力が、必要であった。これをミックスしたっていうことが、今回の、難しさであり、それがうまくいったことでああいう、ガーメントに仕上がったものだと思います。
So, elevated allure was one of the most challenging fabrics to produce. Mireia wanted to have an innovative fabric that was light-weighted, but also supportive at the same time. And moreover, she wanted to have the design with the particular lines to change the power level in the garment, and also wanted to make it look more beautiful and sophisticated when they're put on as a garment. So it was very challenging because it was very difficult to have the different power level in one fabric. And in order to achieve that, we had to use the latest Carl Meyer's machine. It's a Russell-Tronic machine, which enables us to produce innovative fabrics using spandex with more complicated and interesting patterns in faster speed. And also we had to have some special yarns as well on the side. And we use few special spandex yarns called Roika HS and SF. So HS, it allowed us to help making the soft power, and SF, it helps us to make the fabric to have more power within one fabric. So the combination of this machine and also the special yarns, it allowed us to make such a fabric for elevated allure. So yes, it was very challenging. And another thing that was challenging for us was that the fabric got distorted with the original pattern due to the power balance within the fabric. So we had to calculate and redesign the pattern and run few trials in order to achieve all Mariah's requests to come true. So that was the challenging thing, but it's very awesome to see the final products in the market now.
What is it? Is it a jacquard technology or is it printed? Because from Japan, there's also that manufacturer who comes with silicone printing that blocks part of the fabric.
No, it's a jacquard fabric, and maybe Mr. Suzuki, do you want to explain the way it's knit and the type of yarn that you introduced here?
Bra, what Makam already said, and what Mireille also showed, the bra of the future is light, is comfortable, is very, very technical, and is also beautiful to look at. Now that is actually what we expect from the big companies, because all those other attacks in the market you feel, unless it's from one of the big sport brands, are majorly also marketing and focused on smaller sizes. So the reality of the market is the enormous exponential growth of the bigger size market. Even in China, we see that is happening, where lightness and functionality suddenly, as a sort of contradiction in terms, need to sit in the same product.
Right. One of the things that we also see is that comfort comes from support. Like wearing very soft, non-structured styles for a long period of time isn't comfortable for many customers. Skin on skin isn't very comfortable. And so ironically, in the quarantine time, we saw sales in our ultimate comfort category and our ultimate lift category trending at the same time. So immediately when, when the US kind of shut down, of course we saw our comfort business, like all of our styles that we have that are in like this type of shape, or even just some of our wire-free styles, we saw them go like this. And some styles that had been in our line forever and just kind of existed, even those styles went like this because they just had no wires, and everybody went that way. But then what we saw come April, May, was that there was a bit of a transition, and then people were starting to look for styles that lifted, styles that made them still appear good in their clothes, look good in their clothes, because when we're on these calls, still half of our body is showing. And if I was wearing a style like this, underneath this, it wouldn't look right. And even if it wasn't such an open neckline,
it would always look right. Come on.
No, it wouldn't look right. And it's funny because even I did it. Like when we were, we had several Zoom meetings like a day, and I thought I could even, sort of cheat and wear, this style that we've had forever. and I wore this underneath, and I couldn't get away from the fact that nothing was in the right place. My shirt everything looked bad. And I was right back into actually this bra because it felt like I was wearing nothing, but I still had a really pretty shape and I was lifted. So I don't think the US customer, I don't think all women are going to transition from a traditional bra world to sport crop pull-ons. I definitely think that there's a lot of action there. And I think it's kind of a pushback from the way traditional bra styles were designed and constructed. But it doesn't mean that there can't be a benefit from these. I mean, I think at a point in time, wires, even the first t-shirt bras, think back to the shape of the first t-shirt bras that were introduced, they were even projected. We've done so much work over the last 3 or 4 years, just on our foam cup shapes and sort of rounding off that top and giving it a more natural silhouette. I think for sure, I think American women are looking for a natural look, but they still want lift. And so we're, you know, even in our foam cups, it's the profile of the way that a woman wants to look at her chest that's changed.
So Mireille, tell us something. I don't get an answer to that from my other contact. When I started to work in lingerie, obviously the most sold size in bras was what you call 34B. What is it now?
For our brand, I can tell you what it is.
Well, you must have two data. I'm sure of that. What is yours? What is your most sold size, and what is the general most sold size?
I don't know that I could speak on authority on the general top selling size because of how we get the information by, like there's a NPD gives information based on department chain, and then there's mass, and then when you look at the whole market, it's something. But for us, we have 2 sizes that are tied: 38 double D and 36 double D. Those are tied for like our number 1 selling size. They're like neck and neck, and it just depends on the bra. And then right behind that is 34 and 36 triple D. But you know, Wacoal is known to service the fuller busted customer, not just plus size, full bust. So, you know, 36 is not really a plus size customer, but she's got in a double D and a triple D, she's got the fuller bust. So those 4 sizes are our top selling sizes.
I have only 3. 38 double D, 36 double D, 34 triple D.
Sorry, it's 36 and 38 double, and then 36 and 38 triple.
Okay.
It's like that quadrant are sort of our top, but double is bigger than triple.
But that's not enormous.
No.
No. That's rather the people around me here in France as well, for a big part. So why is everybody so incredibly focused on 40 G or some things like that, and they say, oh, very proud to have that, and women thank us and cry. And I see this market and I think, yeah, there's still a lot of beauty to be done with those sizes.
I'm so happy I'm semi-prepared for this call. I have size selling for every style in our line here. Because we were actually reviewing this in context of planning next season to see where we're seeing trends. It's interesting. There's been a big push. Bigger bands is one conversation, and bigger cups is a second conversation. And I, you know, a lot of times it's a matter of chicken or the egg. If you don't have the sizes, the customers can't buy it. But if you have the sizes and nobody knows that you have it, they don't buy it. But we've introduced a lot. We've had big pushes with key retailers, bringing 3 of our top selling styles all the way to a 46 band, and offering them up to a triple D in the 46, but we go up to a 44H. And we have I cups. So, but what we see is the size selling on that top end is if you were just the buyer for the retailer, you would see they question that end of the size spectrum because the sell-through isn't quite there compared to that sort of more focused size range. But for Wacoal, we love and we like feel, I don't want to say responsibility, but we honor those sizes. And we know that through our garment construction and our workmanship, we can offer that customer something great. And so in Key Styles, we have those sizes. But I think what's important is that the word gets out so they know that they're available. I think a lot of times you see, I would venture to guess that a lot of these sort of styles that look like this, but are actually a sport bra, let's say, and are worn by a plus size customer is because they don't know that the bra size is available for them by brands like us and others. And so it's kind of an awareness factor. So what's great about all the digitally native brands is they're talking about it a lot and that these sizes are available. And hopefully word gets out that they're also available in our retail store, you know, at Macy's and Dillard's, etc. But that, or they're available on our website. But the sell-through doesn't match the chat.
Okay, so the sell-through doesn't match on neither. And we are in Europe. I mean, we are pretty impressed by the pictures of really very big ladies in very ill-fitted underwear, being very proud on Instagram all over the place as a sort of applause factor of both the idea of inclusivity and body positive, of course, I understand that. And that makes a lot of people in the especially young designers, it makes them very worried. They have a feeling like, oh God, is this my future? Do I really have to count in every design that I have to serve that size as well? What you are saying is that indeed there are the breasts of women have become bigger, which we have seen over the years, but it's not. But the focus on the market is still there where you can make a beautiful product.
Right. I think the beauty becomes when you can start to engineer garments for that. The truth is you can't have one set of patterns that accurately fit both sides of the size spectrum. You have to modify in your grade. And I think maybe historically where it's gone wrong for brands that say, and I'm talking not the recent chatter, I'm talking 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when, you know, plus size became this big conversation. You had brands that had a pattern and everybody started with a 34B and then they graded. And in that grading became kind of at a certain point guesswork because they weren't necessarily putting those bras on all the sizes that they were making it for.
Yeah, but that's another discussion we have, and I talked with a couple of people who are also very much into body changing bodies and changing breasts, etc. So cosmetic surgery. Above a certain size, not two sizes are the same anymore. Because where we are more or less somehow identical is when we are very thin, because we more or less have all the same skeleton. The moment, how do you say that? Let me say that elegantly. The more we start to cushion ourselves, somebody cushions a little bit more here, or the cushion a little bit more there. So you can at a certain moment, and that problem is going up. So that is when the discussion in the market, and that is very interesting discussion, starts, and that is certainly something I would also like Makam to be a very good listener, is customization. There are all kind of signals that say that with the new way of 4D prototyping, we can in the last moment we can customize a product to the requirements of an individual customer. What do you think about that? And that still has a lot to do with the fabric, with technology, with virtual fitting, with scanning, a very interesting world. But people believe that the solution for the bigger size market, and that is where also a lot of retailers are very excited about, but because you need somebody in between, you need somebody to handle that with a client. You can't do it all. You, Mariah, 100,000 American women who come to you, or you have to scan them. But what do you think about that?
I think a lot of thoughts about that. We are deep into looking at how we can utilize technology to help service the customer better. And, you know, it won't materialize into being, you know, doing a scan of each individual and making a custom bra for them. Because for Wacoal at least, from a manufacturing standpoint, to, you know, alter a pattern for a specific person, size and scale, and put it into production isn't how we're set up for production. And to be able to offer a customer a bra at a reasonable price. But I think, and I believe that through understanding the growth of the female body, and where there are similarities and breaks in the way that our shapes grow and themes for which the bodies grow, we can definitely help serve the customer better through using that type of technology. And so hopefully you'll see something from Wacoal on that soonish.
Soonish, how soonish?
I can't say. I can't say because I don't know. To be totally honest, I am offsite today. With my team is going to be arriving at my house this afternoon, and we will be working. We've been doing a series of brainstorms, as well as calls and partnerships with people working in that space, and to look at what does that mean and how can Wacoal incorporate that into our experience. Because the truth is, for us, everything is about fit, and that's what we did in store. You know, we had people working in store, associates, pairing customers to product. And so now, how do you do that and bring that to the virtual and digital space is what we're working on. And so I'm being very elusive, I know, but I'm very excited about how we can do things different. And even immediately, we're already doing things different. Separate from 3D scanning, we 100% recognize that the way that a woman's body grows is not always, it's not in equal parts. And so the benefit of having a skilled design team like we have and making all of our patterns in New York and fitting on real live people of all different sizes, like legitimately fitting on them and making legitimate corrections to patterns and saying where we should have a break in the sizing. So we're going to stop grading the strap platform at a 38 double, because she doesn't, just because she's getting bigger this way doesn't mean she's getting bigger all this way. And so we've been incorporating these changes into our line. And they essentially started shipping into bras that we were launching in fall of spring of 19, and they're forward. And that's where we're seeing like the shift in our customer age is coming down, and we're launching new solutions that people are understanding, and they're working for their body shapes better than they have in the past. So we kind of have broken the Walk Whole America mold a little bit. So there's that whole thing that's going on, and then there's this other thing that you're asking about, and then they'll merge together, because as we get more information on this, it'll inform that.
I hope the audience we have understands that indeed the solutions for a better bra market, a bra market where women do not feel the victim, because that has also been one of the ongoing marketing stories, where bra manufacturers said you don't wear the right size. Now that is the whole world in marketing said, how is it possible that an industry blames the customer of making a mistake, and when it doesn't fit, it's her fault. So right. that was the most, and I think that a lot of the trouble we're in are purely related there, because it gave a feeling of a business model of the bra industry that did not allow to be customer friendly, that allowed only to work on a sort of prefab models to have the big production lines going in Asia, and it made it very unsympathetic in my opinion. So that is very, so you're now going to all hear that the big brands are trying to correct that. Am I saying that right, Mirai? To correct that, to become more friendly and more accepting that the difficulties they face are not easily to put down into a sort of parameters which are easily explained on a spreadsheet. It is a made to measure comfort industry, which is really very difficult. And Miraya and other big brands, it's quite sure that without your support as big industries with this enormous knowledge that's going on and organized design togetherness with your suppliers and with the fiber industry and with Makam, that's the only way forward. I have another question to the friends from Makam. Do you have anything to say about that? Would you like to make a remark?
Makam さん、何かご意見あれば何でもどうぞということですけども。
まあそうですね。今のインティメイトを作る上で。やっぱり一番大事なものっていかに洗練されたパターンがあるかだと思うんです。はい、つまり、マライアさんの考える、どういった商品化にフィットするような、素材を提供できるか、マライアさんのそのものづくりの心を刺激できるかっていうのが一番我々の使命かなと思ってます。
So it is important for Makam to continue developing sophisticated pattern fabrics, and it is crucial to combine that with Mariah's creativity and imagination of how it should be put in the garment. So when we would like to use our know-hows and also knitting machines to give a stimulation to this industry.
I have to credit Makwam with is that, and they didn't necessarily answer this for themselves, but I'll answer it for them, is that they also have recognized the need for superior stretch fabrics and the soft hand. So in our time working together, when we first would meet and we would look at materials, there was a lot of power to them, but didn't have the hand, right? It didn't have the sumptuous hand that the American market wanted. And I have to give them credit because I know we were in so many meetings where they'd be very excited to show me the new materials, and I touched them and I didn't like the hand. And so if the American customer doesn't like the hand, they won't accept, they won't even try it on. But what Maquam did is take that challenge and think, how do we use our machines, which the jacquard machines that they have give this incredible four-way stretch. And then they started working with all these softer yarns and then lighter yarns. And they have these, their most recent collection has these fabrics that have like 360-degree stretch, but this fabulous sort of spring back. And when you talk about sizing and you want an inclusivity, those types of fabrics are the fabrics that work for that customer.
Oh, sure. I totally agree with you, because I saw a lot of, no, not a lot, because it's still the people who have invested in jacquard machines who can do that and who have the knowledge to operate them, because it's often more knowing about the digital knowledge, how to set up those machines for engineering, which is the big problem. So it's still a very inclusive little group of people who are able to do that. The difference certainly is that for a lot of engineering, the moment where we start to see a big amount of elastan in fabric, they become as harsh as something to scrape your pants. I mean, you don't want to have that on your body. But and lace people always say to me, yeah, you can't have it both ways. If you want more pull, then we are going to end up with scratchy fabrics. Now, sorry, I don't want that. And then they start to throw tons of silicone on it, and that makes it very sort of limp.
Right.
So we want springy fabrics that are soft to the hand. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay.
In my opinion. In my opinion.
Yes.
I think that's where that developmental challenge occurs between designer or design teams and our fabric suppliers is they typically will show what's new and what they can do. But just because it's a new thing that you can do on a machine doesn't mean the consumer is going to like it. And so then how do you need to tweak that so that it's accepted by the consumer? And that's where we have built a really great relationship.
Now I have another subject that has not, we talked already in our pre-discussions about sustainability, and you said that WACO is on it, but it's too early to be concrete. And I agree with you, Mariah, that sustainability has different aspects. For me, sustainability is wearing something longer. Something that keeps longer, that stays longer, you can wash it perfectly, it doesn't fall apart. And of course, some people say, yeah, that means higher prices. Higher prices are not in the lingerie industry always related on better sustained lasting value. Sorry, I have plenty of examples in my cupboard as that. It is very often adding a lot of stuff on it that is beautiful but not really functional. So we are looking forward to gorgeous and long lasting, and then when you can add something which is also better in its certainly biodegradability, because that of course is a big problem with all the elastan and all the synthetic oil related fibers. I would like to tell you to say something else. One of the problems, according to me, in the bra market is, and that certainly is going to the big brands that should take the market forward with their innovation, is image. I feel that people in the activewear market have achieved something quite amazing, that even the most non-functional product has an air of I'm young, I'm active, I'm dynamic, I'm knowing what I'm doing. The bra market is in a certain way always focusing on how the breast looks. That is very interesting, but their image, it is not something that a promise that you think I need to have it because you expect that it's comfortable, and that it's, after all, that's your business. But the image, what are we going to do about the image? You know that, for instance, Chantel, they hired a photographer to not, I had nothing to do with lingerie. He made new pictures and it worked. So suddenly you see kids who hardly have any figure in product, dipping their toes in the water, and that's the image of Chantel. So suddenly it's considered as somebody who speaks the same language as a younger group of people. Now there are other ways, of course. One of the things I'm very much in favor of is also the demand of authenticity. Now, if I take all the people who say they make a good fitting product in the bigger sizes and I put them on the ground to take the labels off, there's nobody jumping out, and even when I take the sizing, the brand name away from the pictures, it's a little bit all the same. So what are you going to do about image? What are you going to tell the world about you, Makam, a machine which is very rare and unique for you, what you achieve? But I think people need more information. So there are two routes. There's a typical Chantel route, completely focused on a woman type. There's also another route, and that is explaining why you are special and what is so special about you.
I very much agree.
Thank you.
I don't have responsibility for the marketing budget. Although I do, we do have a new head of our marketing, and she recently joined the company and, is doing a really great job of kind of focusing on our website first and how we portray the product, how we organize. She's also over e-commerce. So a lot of focus has been recently on how we organize, how we present, and how the customer's journey is. The next phase is really how do we include more people, and how do we freshen our face?
Yes, because in the meantime, probably a lot of the people watching have seen you, Mariah, and that I was so amused by it. Here you have the vice president of merchandising on Instagram, playing around with bras and putting them over t-shirts. I mean, it was all a breath of fresh air. Let's say it. So that for me and for a lot of other people who look at this industry, at the intimates industry, it's not different in China or in Japan. They feel that and a lot of dusting off needs to happen.
There's a lot of same. There's a lot of same. And it is, in fairness, it's hard. It's hard to get an image of a model wearing a product. I mean, she's in a bra and a panty, so the backgrounds or the settings you can put her in that are appropriate are kind of limited. And then the positioning of her is hard as well, because it could quite quickly get suggestive from approachable. But then that sort of approachable can sometimes very much look the same.
Yeah, because I know Aerie was the first with people, just their clients in their bras, whether that for a big part that was true, completely natural, and now everybody takes it over. So now everything looks the same again. So that is a little bit of a problem, but you hardly can expect people who are copying your special handling of things, your special, because that bra, I have seen that bra, the black one you just showed. I recognized that it was, but somehow, perhaps it should have been explained in depth, because it was not, so then you easily come to the situation of presentation at retail, because that's where we find your products. We find them, we go to America and we say, okay, we are running now through Lord & Taylor, it doesn't exist anymore, to Bloomingdale's, to Macy's, and we look what is new, and Warhol is one of our focus, and there it all hangs. So that is not really very, very, it's not a celebration of your technology, is it?
Well, actually, it's starting to be, and it will be going forward. We just had a meeting with a retail partner yesterday, and our solution focus, our solution merchandising strategy has really taken shape on our website, and we're seeing that the customer absolutely shops by what she's looking to solve. Whether it's sexy or not, to say it, it's the truth. What is she looking to wear this bra for is really the way she shops. And so if we could get in front of her and say what this bra does for her in a very clear and meaningful way, the adoption is very quick. And so we're also looking, and we already have sort of a first phase in stores now, but also setting up a very similar way to shop in store. So whether it's signage and navigation and merchandising of what product is together, instead of it just being all wire-free bras are over here and t-shirt bras are there and online styles are here, it's really by solution. And so what is the customer looking for the bra to deliver? And then we're putting the product together in that way, and with navigation and explanation as to why this bra. Because service levels in stores are challenged, right? So the customer needs to be able to look at the product and say, what is this going to do for me? Why this one versus that one? And I think that's always been the biggest challenge. If you look at 10 t-shirt bras, why this one versus that one? It's very confusing to the consumer. If I didn't know what I know and I just walked in and I saw, 10 nude t-shirt bras, I would have no idea why one would be better for me than the other. And so that is what we're working into our product knowledge, both online and in store.
Is it so that I have a feeling, there's still a little bit time for a little small anecdote. When I started in lingerie, I was a journalist, and they asked me, that was the moment that banned the bra, and nobody wanted bra, and nobody wanted to buy bras, and were bras one size only. It was a similar situation, no bras, bra. So they asked me, what is going on? Are we going to self-service? So now that they take it now it's online, and because retail is out. And I said, I don't believe that for a minute. I can't imagine that's ridiculous. And I asked them to give me a year to work every 2 weeks in a retail shop selling. Now I came from retail, so that was easy enough, not necessarily from lingerie. And I found out that in general, if I was in that shop and they put me free because I asked that, and I could talk with women, they always went away with at least 4 bras, and they came for 1. Now that was a very interesting study I then came across, because my total knowledge of selling, etc., was much higher. And my understanding of the problems was bigger. And I also knew that me as a woman going in a lingerie shop where there's a woman with a tape measure around her neck and everything in boxes, that didn't coincide with this after the 60s, the 70s need for freedom. So although the product is not in boxes anymore, it's a sea of product, and to find your way around. And then when you get a sales lady, my feeling is that probably retailers have to pay their sales staff better and educate them better, because my experience from myself is that the moment you say, did you see that, and we have very good results in that, and we find that fantastic. And I remember in those days, after a couple of weeks, I discovered that, for instance, when somebody said, and nothing fits, that kind of stuff, I only had to take a Warner's bra, because Warner's bras were at that time, and we talk early 70s, the solution for a lot of ill fits. And of course, I think that is still the same, because every salesperson would like to get away with a happy result. But here in France, for instance, the salespeople are related to a brand.
Right.
So a woman is not really, because she doesn't come to a certain brand. So how can you? That is, I think, one of the problems at the moment as well. I think that salespeople should actually, perhaps in department store, being paid more. And trained more, perhaps, but I think that this is a golden time for the comeback of the specialty store. I think the specialty store, in times of crisis, they have such a chance to make themselves known for personal service and customized changes and ordering things for them. And I think they are at this moment, they're hurt by the COVID and all the fitting. It's a little bit difficult, but I think a lot of them are doing a very good job at the moment.
Yeah, I agree.
You agree?
I do agree.
Are you ever going to a shop to actively sell?
Do I? I do.
Yeah.
I do a lot. I myself and the design team we have an event that we host twice a year, called Fit for the Cure. It's to support breast cancer awareness, and we run events all over the country. And so when I have the design team, every designer has to attend an event twice a year for the whole day and sell the product they design. Now this year is different. So our Fit for the Cure event usually happens in October, but with all the restrictions around COVID, we have to take a different approach, because fitting rooms aren't open and fittings aren't happening the normal way. So the design team is not going, but they will again as soon as we get past this. But it 100% informs design decisions to see your product on real people.
That is, is Macam ever on a fair? Because their knowledge is fantastic. You said, I saw them at Interfilière. Were they in the Azai Kazai stand? I will certainly promote the gentleman. Are you coming back to fairs? If the fairs are open, even digital fairs at the moment?
デジタルオンラインでも展示会に帰ってこられますかと、出展されますかと。
ただ立場がね、 あくまでもほら、旭化成さんとコラボレートっていう感じでしたよね。
Because
So
we are thinking. But do you agree with that? We are thinking that we is Rafael from Curve and me are thinking a very interesting event for fabrics alongside Curve would be a sort of a lace summit where we take lace in a much wider sense than just something beautiful, but also for the functionality or because I think that even when there is an enormous run on plain materials, that in the eye of every woman, only an decorated product is really lingerie. Do you agree with that, Miraya?
I do. Everybody needs it in their wardrobe.
So that I think
no matter what, comfy is comfy, but it's not sexy.
Now here we go. So guys in lace, if you follow this, be prepared. We're going to do fantastic things. And Miraya, I invite you certainly to explain to everybody what it is, what you're looking for. It can be, I hope it will be at the end of next year, that we are then through the most of the misery.
Do we think so? January not happening?
I think January will happen small. But what we are seeing now, we have, I don't know whether you see it, it is online. I presented the forum. There's a forum online now.
Yeah.
There's a virtual forum, filmed me going around and explaining what is there, but very small amount of exhibitors compared to a big show. But we think that is a solution combined to a fair, which will not be as big because there are, we do not think that there are a lot of countries open by that time.
Right.
So
there, I think Curve and yourself are doing a lot to try and keep the intimate apparel industry connected. And it's important. It's really important. It's also very hard because so much of what we do is so tactile, like touching things is so important. So, you know, how you can still get the sense of touch when you're having a conversation. I think that's the biggest challenge because, you know, you could walk through a booth. I could walk through the booth like this. Right? Because it's so much about how it feels. And for the laces, of course, I can understand how you could do it for the laces because you can see patterns. You might not see the full dimension, but you can see the pattern and sort of the artistry. So that works. But the hard part is that
still, in my opinion, there are, and that I said that as well in the forum explanation, which is now online for the fair, that when you talk shapewear, now shapewear more or less starts under the waist in the eye of the most people, but actually everything that should do something. There is still an enormous need for beautiful, functional, four-way stretch. I saw perhaps of everything, and we got quite a number of lace people. I saw perhaps 5 fabrics. I thought now that will stimulate the enthusiasm, and those people are all over the world. It's not just a French thing, absolutely not. When it comes to strength, when it comes to the combination of strength and hand feel, it's what people have. I always say you only have to ask with which clients they work to see where they are, because a lot of the knowledge and the fine tuning is done in the exchange between a fabric manufacturer and their clients, because that's where progress is happening. I mean, my role for a big part is in fashion, but to judge manufacturers, you can immediately see who has the big clients. who has the important clients, who have the very knowledgeable clients, with whom are they working, because they have gone through that process of critical people like yourself. Yes, do you want us to show, Mireille, one bra you are the most proud of?
I honestly, I am so obsessed with this. The one that we already showed, but I guess this is the one, and then the second one, where is it? Oh God, you would love this one. No, I'm not the most proud of that one. Okay. I think, and now they're both black. This one, so it's, for me, this is the bra because I want to look nice, lifted, and tidy.
Is that the bra you showed with a centimeter that it lifted?
Yes, that's this one.
Okay.
And it, like, I put it on, we're prototyping it. And so I have a friend who's a 44 triple D. And so we don't offer that size currently in this style, but I wanted to see if the fabric had the power to function for that size, because it doesn't have a sling, it has nothing. It's just the fabric. The cup is just the fabric. And it lifted her bust 3 inches.
Wow.
She literally texted me yesterday saying, can you make more of these for me, please? And I'm like, you have to wait. I have to see if we'll add the size. But so I love this one because it does for me what it does for her. So it's actually very inclusive. I'm a 32C. So 32C and a 44 triple D, both working in the same bra, I think is great. And then the other one is, this is our, you can't see it. This is our new back appeal bra. We launched this just this year. And here, this is the wire free. You can see the pattern in it a little bit more. This is the sister style, but in the wire, this is all about back smoothing and having this really beautiful molded cup, where there's a lot of design integrity in this that makes it very different. Like, we designed it to have a lower wire. This is the new grade that I was talking about, where it doesn't grow going up this way in the sizes. It just grows where it needs to in the cup as it grows. And then the wire, the way that we did the wire grade on this is totally different as well. So it, you know, one of the things that women always complain about is sort of the side stuff that happens. And that comes from wearing a wire that's maybe either too tall or too firm, or just the wrong size. And then however the back is constructed. So this style has a unique inner back lining to it that has power, and it holds her in on the side. And since the wire goes lower and it holds her in, she looks very, again, very sort of smooth on the side and neat. And this style we launched and we basically sold out of. I mean, it took us 9 months to get back in business.
Is that a bra from which you say we can that develop forward as a, not as a sport bra? I think the real chance in the market and is not in heavy sport or very active bras, but in bras for active women who are not necessarily doing heavy sport. So that's because that's where the attack on your market is the biggest. They buy sport bras, but they wear them as normal bras. So we analyze that, and for a lot of people that sort of easy comfort and a good fit, especially here as well, under the arms. Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people wear sport bras because they don't know their size, or whatever size they were wearing wasn't comfortable. And so they just kind of forfeited the construction. And they went just for something that has minimal construction and, you know, and it also doesn't do much for you in plain clothes. It's probably great for sport, but it doesn't really give any shape. It flattens, if anything. And this type of construction works for that customer because of the way the wire is more open and it's lower and it holds on the side back band. I think that combination is like satisfies what she was fighting. Like, I think a lot of times people end up in these pull-on styles because there was something that they were dissatisfied with. And so therefore they weren't comfortable. And that's why I don't think traditional bras are gone. They just need to innovate in the way that they're constructed, the way that they're made, and what they're made with. And so if you do those things, they could be as comfortable, if not more, because the way you feel the rest of the day. Every person I've put this one on has called me, actually not true, that one everybody loves, but any person who put on our Perfect Primer style, this is like our number 4 style in the line, number 4, number 5, and it was only introduced like 3 or 4 years ago. So for Wacoal, that's like big, because our top sellers are our top sellers for a long time. This is like the most comfortable thing you've ever worn, and people say it's like wearing their favorite sweatshirt, and they just turn to it and wear it and wear it. They wear it so much that I get annoyed. I wish, because they become so loyal to this bra that they don't try the new ones, even internally. Like, all of the Wacoal team wears that bra.
Yeah, but that's a phenomenon of the bra industry as well. If you look at the best sellers, whether you take Bali or Triumph, some of them are 60 years old.
Oh my God, there's a Bali bra that was introduced. It was very easy because I started there. It's very easy for me to remember. Jeannie Martini designed this bra, introduced it the year I was born. And so when I started working there, and it was in the top selling, and I was like 21 years old, I was like, wow, that bra has been like, not, you know, in the top 10 NPD styles for 21 years. And now it's years later, and it's still a top seller. It's not in the top 10 anymore, but I think it's like in the top 20.
Yeah, it's amazing. Tell me, give me an idea about cotton. I have a lot of around me, and also people in the industry are saying that they find that there is a growing and constant demand for cotton, a real functional bra.
I love the idea of it. I have not found a cotton that has the characteristics that it needs in order to deliver our functionality. So once it molds, it either, from what I've seen and what I've worked with, when it molds, it petrifies. Like, even if you could get past the yellowing challenges that occur with cotton, we find that it becomes petrified. It becomes too stiff. And then it no longer conforms, like, it's very hard for it to fit your shape. And so if the mold and your breast aren't like a perfect match, you get like excess. So we haven't found something that we have been able to use, but we are always on the quest for it. Because I agree, there's something about natural fibers, and I feel like the time that we're living, I feel like that kind of back to nature, kind of hunkering down feeling is definitely something the customer's looking for. You know, cotton panties have seen an increase again. That whole feeling, the sustainability kind of really connects into that concept as well. But it's a matter of, in bras for Wacoal, finding someone who makes it in a way that we can work with it.
I saw in the fabrics I selected for the forum this time, so 2 weeks ago. I saw some fabrics that really thought, now that should be the beginning of a bra line. They were all with I forgot the name, but it is it's a yarn from Rhodia, and it has an infrared effect on the skin. They use it a lot in sport. It can be in different blends with cellulosic, because cellulosic has also red soft. And I found one manufacturer who had a whole and I think you have to look in it. Do you know them? Gemma Knits in Thailand?
Yes, I love their fabrics.
Fantastic
But
No,
we had a cotton underwire in that collection because I felt the same thing that you're speaking to, but the retailers didn't buy it.
they should. Retailers.
I think so too.
There is internationally a growing demand, but it shouldn't be a bra that looks like you have to go to hospital.
Right. No, this one had lace and it was very pretty. A cottony lace. It was very pretty.
Okay, this is. Do you have something else to add to the conversation? Anybody? I think we went through the whole Wacol specialities and in the context of the current market. Would you think that I missed something? When from the eyes, from the perspective of a big brand who is dealing, because you are not only selling in America, Wacol America, there's also part of your collection goes to Europe, no?
Yes.
I think we have to thank the two gentlemen from Japan and their translator. Thank you very much. Last season, in January on Interfilière, I invited Karl Mayer to talk with designers, because what you said about the distorting of the pattern is of course a typical designer thing. And most designers who design a product do not know about it. And I think in the future it will be a very, very exciting idea if MACAM could be in either in New York or in Paris or both, to be part of a seminar to explain what the limits are, what you can't do, because I know already that certain round lines are very difficult to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fantastic, enlightened discussion. Thank you very much, Mariah, for taking all that time to talk with us. I hope that a lot of our spectators as well have seen that Brand Tomorrow is all about empathy and thoughts about the consumer. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you,
everybody.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
See you in near future.